Previously, we've looked at costs of goods sold. Now, that ties in closely with profit and loss statements, which every business will do. So, although you might have found that you sold this much stock, that doesn't necessarily mean you've made a profit because we haven't factored in the expenses. So, today we're going to look at profit and loss statements, which involve your revenue, the income, and the expenses, the costs that you've had to do. So, things that might be included in revenue might be your sales, also any fees that you've charged, commissions that you've earned, interest received, so if you've got a bank account and you're making interest, different to paying interest, dividends that you're receiving, or rent, so if you're owning a business and you're renting it out, you might be receiving some income from that. Some different expenses that you might have might be wages that you're paying your staff, rent if you're renting the building that you're running your business in, insurance, rates for your council rates, electricity bills, things like that. Advertising, depreciation, insurance, I think I said that, as well as some other smaller costs that you might have. Really important to read the question to work out whether it's an income or an expense, because things like rents, dividends, they could go both ways. Read the question. Obviously, all the revenue minus your expenses is your profit. Hopefully, sometimes it might be a loss. Let's have a look at an example. So gross profit and net profit are two different things, very similar though. Gross profit is your sales and the costs sold. So if you've sold this much stock, that's your gross profit. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a net profit. Net profit is once you've taken out your expenses. So you'll always be asked to calculate the gross profit, the cost of goods sold, and a net profit, how much money did the business actually make. You'll be given a scaffold like this when you do your questions. So Lynch Lino buys and sells, or Linonium, sorry. So sales of Lino, $577,000, shop rental, rates and taxes, opening stock at the beginning, their wages, telephone charges, to buy more stock, electricity charges, insurance costs, and then closing stock of this much money. They spent throughout the year some money on advertising and also on depreciation of shop fittings. So throughout your tasks, you're given a scaffold like this. Just going to have to move this one along so we can see it. Yeah. All right. So your revenue. Let's look at that one first. So the sales, well, we're told that you sell $577,800 of stock. Our opening stock was $234,750. Purchases of goods was $365,715. Choose my writing. And at the closing stage, we had $286,500 of stock on hand, which means the cost of goods, the closing stock, the cost of goods sold was $313,965. So we had our opening stock, we added on the purchases, and then we took away what was left at the end. So our sales, $577,000. The cost of goods sold, the stock that we've got on hand, was $313,965. So we take these two, find the difference between those two, and it's $263,835. So the first one is how much sales did you make, how much stock have you got, which you've had to replace throughout the year. We find that the profit is $263,835. What expenses have we had? Well, we had to rent the shop, so $1,500. Hello there, still looking at you. Bring you up here. $2,300 worth of rates and taxes, $88,000 of wages. We had $1,965. We had electricity costs, we had insurance costs, we had advertising costs, and depreciation, which is an expense as well, and that was around about $988. So we total all of those expenses up, and we find that it's $105,908 of total expenses. So our net profit and our gross profit. Our gross profit was $263,835, but we had expenses of $105,908. So what is our net profit? It's the difference between the two. So it's 226,385. Take away the $105,908. Our net profit is $157,927. You'll always get a scaffold. Go through, identify, is it a profit? Is it an income? Is it a cost? Tally them all up, find the difference to get your net profit. Good luck, guys.